Welcome to Cooper Electric, Friedman, and now newly acquired City Electric. I'm Mike Yatnak-Parian, and we have Frank Sanchez here from Fee & Schoen. And here's just a brief agenda of what we're going to cover today. Some medium voltage splicing and terminating, just a very high level of that. Dig deep a little bit into the fire stop, and then we'll talk about our new and exciting extreme Post-it notes. And in line with that, I suggest you take special note on Frank Sanchez's email or phone number, because you'll be able to get some free samples with that, so stay tuned. So just in getting involved with medium voltage splicing and terminating, and what we're talking about there is anything over 5 kV, so 5,000 volts up to 35,000 volts. If you're selling any of that type of cable or using any of that type of cable, you're going to need some of our terminations and possibly our splices. And one of the challenges there is, where do you find it? And Cooper Electric has a lot of these right on the shelf. So when we talk about accessories, excuse me, we have two types of technologies. We have heat shrink, which I won't be demoing because I don't have a torch with me here. And we have our cold shrink products, which is, for those who are not familiar with, you just need to simply unwind, and this is going to shrink right down. So what we've been able to do with that technology now is, if you've bought a particular type of cable, it usually comes with a heat shrink end cap on there. And if you need to reseal it, we now have a cold shrink cap you can slide on, pull it down without any heat, and it seals perfectly on that. So these are in stock, and the end cap part number is real easy. It's just EC-1, 2, or 3. And those are stocked. If you still want the old style heat shrink, we also have those. And I would just note here, there's a really good 3m.com/cold site that has videos, training, even hands-on classes as well. And if you need the live and in-person version, I'm available to come to the job sites. And who do we compete against? Our competition is Raychem/Tyco, Elastomold, or Prysmian. So if you hear of any of those specs, that's something that maybe we can go into and work together on. One thing I did want to show real quick, and there's some information out there on our terminations, is indoor versus outdoor. So you stock both of them. And maybe if I can borrow that for this. So the outdoor version will have these little skirts or umbrellas on there. And they work great either indoor or outdoor. However, our newer version, which is our 7620T, are about half the price. And you can use these anywhere as long as it's not up on a pole directly exposed. So if outside, but in some type of enclosure, you can use this 620T series. And the advantage of it is it's a lot smaller, and it's about half the price. So that might be something to think about. But when in doubt, give me a shout, and we can get you the actual cut sheets for the terminations and the splices. In addition, Cooper's also stocked break elbows too, so any type of connection, that's something that we have available for you. And then the last piece of our splicing business is our big torpedo. This is up to a 35,000 volt splice that's all contained in one piece of cold shrink. So again, it saves a lot of space, a lot of time, and it makes it very easy to install. So it's called our QS4, and all in one self-contained integrated piece. There's a nice little flyer showing everything being stocked locally. And the other thing, that if you have a large project with lots of different connectors and lugs and such, we can actually build special kits for you, job specific. So that's called our construction services job. Free takeoff. So again, if you have any medium voltage, 5 kV to 35 kV, think of us. And if you're buying or selling the cable, you definitely need the kits to go along with it. And the other nice thing about it is it helps with lead times, and just good old made in America. All of these cold shrink products are made right in Minnesota. So now we'll switch gears a little bit to our new family portrait of our fire stop products. And obviously,
family.
Yeah, exactly. So unlike, we can go into a full certification class on this. And if you ever need it, whether it's for medium voltage or for fire, reach out to me. I can come out and you can get an actual certification as a certified installer. So I can help you with the fire. Today, just because we just have a short amount of time, we're going to go over some of the newer FireStop products. So just to give you an idea, yesterday, if you had a large penetration that you had a seal for fire, we had our FireStop pillows. They come 3 sizes. They're still available. The one thing with these is that they're you can press them, put them right into the open, and if a fire hits, these are going to expand. So I was trying it out earlier on barbecue grill to see how high these would go up, and it worked out great. The only negative with these, however, is you can't cut these, and they do have to be installed a certain way. So these are still available. They come in 3 different sizes. However, I think the next slide you'll see are our new blocks that are going to be, so far, seems to be a lot more well received. So this entire material is FireStop. You can cut them. You can drill a hole right through here and build almost a wall with these. And we have them also in a plank form. Let's see what you got there.
I got it. There we go. There we go. And here's the plank.
Yep. And basically that's 5 of these. So you can use those in a big opening. So we'll show you here. Real quick and easy. You don't need any special chicken wire to install. And you can use them in conjunction with both the blocks and the planks. Yep. So same material as Frank was showing. If you look on the bottom, this is going to probably not, but the bottom left-hand side, if you happen to have a day 2 work stub-up conduits that you have to seal, these plugs, 2-inch or 4-inch plugs, can be placed right into the conduit, and you can cut them very easily, run your wire through, and then seal them back up, and you're good to go. Or you can just leave them for future, and if you never needed to go back in them, they're still fire ready. Okay? And this just shows you some pictures of applications of the different the bricks and the planks. This is a great example too. So, a customer called us up. This is a 30-story high-rise. That opening, they were going to just pour a bunch of fire mortar in it, and the material cost probably would have been about $200, and they had 30 of these to do. However, the labor of trying to seal up and hold up the concrete, it took 2 people probably about 3 hours to do 1 opening. In the field, we used our blocks and our foam, and we were able to do it in less than 10 minutes. And the material cost was $500 per opening, but they saved a ton of labor, and happy to say that they bought all the material from Cooper Electric. So again, who are our competitors? It's no secret, Hilti is a big player. They do have a block, however, it's 18% smaller, so for neck and neck on price, we're saving 18% to the customer. They don't have planks, they don't have pillows. They do have a fire board, but it's a little bit less secure than our steel fire board. And our other competitor is STI. They don't have the blocks and planks. They do have pillows in the sheet. So we have a full line. So as we're working towards the grand finale, and this is the real new product that's really a game changer. Everyone, wants a FireStop product to be clean, neat, and easy to install. And obviously, if you're using caulk, you have to use that mineral wool to seal the opening, and then caulk on top of it. And then once you've done that, it becomes rock hard, and you can't get back in. We also have this fire block, which is a residential-only FireStop, that when you spray this into the opening, it expands great. However, during a fire, what will happen is this actually will shrivel up and fall out of the opening. So this is not a commercially rated FireStop. And I know that there's a little confusion on this, but this is strictly for a single-family residential application. Okay? Because we need a FireStop that's going to expand into the opening. and then during a fire, expand again, and this does not do that. However, we do have this new product that does. And before I demo it, just to show you a few things, if you see some really tough penetrations to seal on the right-hand side, this new foam, first thing is it does not need mineral wool, so you don't need any of that. And then they always say the 4 R's. It's re-enterable, it's rated, it's up to 2-hour rated, it's reusable, and it's reusable. And basically, once you've used the foam, it's the same consistency as these plugs and bricks. So it comes out very, very plump. Here's some other application pictures, again, and that's what we do. I have a couple of teammates, Brian Fenstermaker, that's all he does is fire stop. So if you need people to go out to the job site, he's available. Jim McLean handles New York. John Kays handles South Jersey and Pennsylvania. So we've got we have a really good team to help you with the installs. But you can see here, you just shoot in the foam, and it's going to expand in and fill in all the voids. Now this was my first attempt at installing it, and it does expand a little bit slower than the residential foam. So I had shot some of the foam in there, thought it was not expanding enough, so I shot some more in. It takes about 45 seconds. So when I turned around, I saw this whole expansion of the foam. The good news is that, as I mentioned, it's pliable, so you could literally just take a razor knife, take off the top edges of that install, it look good, but also since it's going to expand again in the fire, take that and use that into the next penetration, so there's no waste to the product. So we have, just to help along besides myself, we have a great website, 3m.com/firestop, and then a hotline number. So let me show, I'm going to demo this foam here. And you do need a special gun, whether we have a manual gun and we have this gun. It'll come with the nozzles. So it's a reaction. It's going to mix. And you can tell we don't need any of that mineral wool. It's very adherent, so it's going to stick well to the sides. And we'll kill time because it takes about 45 seconds to cure. Let's get that up there for a second. And the other good scenario is if you have some tough to get to installs, you can use just a piece of like flex tubing, slide it on the nozzle, and then seal into places that maybe you couldn't find. The questions that usually will come up, can you reuse this tube? And I've used this tube all week. As long as you seal it, it's good for a year. However, the nozzles, which you can see, they're a one and done, so they're not going to be able to be used. So when you purchase the material, they come 6 per case of the foam cartridges, but we give you 12 nozzles, which are extra nozzles. So here you can kind of see it does not leak. And I just put 1 bead of this, and it's already expanded about 5 times its normal size. So as we continue to move on, in another 5 or 10 seconds, this will be fully cured. So real quick, easy way to use it. Again, you're not coming back with all the red caulk all over you. One of those foam cartridges equals 6 of these regular tubes. So if you're paying, say, $12 or so for a tube, you're going to pay about $60 for the foam cartridge, but you're going to get a lot more usage out of that. So, and where you're really saving is the labor time. But again, once it's in, now it's already fully cured. You can, if you need to, I'll grab that other one. This is something we did a little earlier today. You can literally just tear it out and reuse the same material. So it's a real easy way to do the fire stopping. It's not going to replace all the other things, but when you have a lot of openings that have a lot of wires and conduits in there, this is a great way to seal it. And again, FireStop is probably our #1 growing product, and definitely think about it anytime they're using any type of, another good application is buying outlet boxes. We have the putty pads, sleeves. See, we have a whole bunch of products to talk about, but I really wanted to focus on the foam, the plugs, and the flames. Alrighty. So now we're going to just finish up with some extreme Post-its, and I'll turn it over to my buddy here, Frank Sanchez from Thea & Schoen.
So we have our extreme Post-its, and today through next week they're 25% off at Cooper branches, so they're $3.99. They come in 3 colors. The best part about these, it can be used on practically any surface, so you have wood, brick. It can be used in hot and cold temperatures. I heard that somebody put it on the back of their car at the beginning of winter and removed it at the end of the season. It was still sticking.
Car washes, good kick-me signs for people. Even let's see if it sticks to the old fire stop material, and
yep.
It definitely sticks to everything, and it's clean removal too.
Yeah, there's no residue, there's no anything like that, and it's a fantastic product. And I know that I believe it is stocked at all of the Cooper branches now.
They are, yep.
And I've used them. They don't work in the shower, but I guess that's not what they mean by a wet condition.
But they are, so as long as you're putting it on a dry surface,
right,
and then it gets wet, you're good. Good for panels, temporary marking. We're 3M's advertising it quite a bit, so you'll start to see it out there. And the cost of a pack of these, like I said, normally is about $5 or $6. As Frank mentioned, they're on sale this week for $3.99. So it's almost the same price as a standard Post-it note, but really, really a good way to do some marking. We've had some people come up with some creative ways as far as putting on some tools and areas for follow-up. So I think they're at every counter, so give that a whirl.
And as Mike said earlier, if you contact me, I'd be happy to send you a couple of samples, just so you can peruse them.
Yeah, so you get a little sample pack just like this. There we go. So, in closing, I really wanted to thank everybody for their time and interest in 3M. We're having a great year again. I've been calling on Cooper for 35 years, and every year, the sales keep going up. Mainly for your local stock, we have a great team approach, and if there's anything that you could need for us to follow up with, either technical or training, either at the branches or more importantly at your customers, we're certainly available. So thank you very much for your time, and we'll talk to you soon.
We have a question.
Yes. Oh, great.
Cough gun is stocked in the CDC.
Yes, thank you for the question. There's two guns. There's the HMS, and the M stands for manual, so that is stocked. And then there's an HPS, which is the one I demoed, which is the power gun, and that is also stocked. So yes, they're both stocked. And you do need that. You can't use a standard caulk gun. Good question. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.
Good day.